Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'll go first. When I reflect back on my time as a facilitator for Umoja Circles, I think of two points. The demands of being a student within the university, because again, this is within our practicum, so we have to-dos and other obligations that we have to take care of as a student in addition to our coursework, and then also my ego within my ability to be a clinician, right? And what I mean by that is essentially, when we read things in textbook, when we learn stuff in class, we kind of have a different vision of how things are going to be. We have that perfect, this is going to be a perfect circle. Folks are going to participate. They're going to answer questions. It's going to flow seamlessly. I'm going to come, and it's just going to look really organized. And realizing that oftentimes that's not initially the case, especially for, newer clinicians and also students. And just trying to navigate that, trying to remove myself and my expectations from the process, and kind of learning and meeting the community and giving them what they need, and growing as a clinician, and growing knowing that, the things are not going to look anywhere remotely close to how we see them and how we view them in our mind, but, we just kind of have to make that adjustment.
Yeah, going off of that, I had a very similar initial experience when I joined Umoja Circles as a facilitator. I was worried about being able to engage the participants, being able to deliver the information properly. And the first couple sessions were really difficult because some participants were kind of dropping in and out, and participation was dwindling. And that was difficult to see because I was wondering if maybe the information wasn't resonating, maybe the way I was delivering it wasn't resonating, and trying to see ways that I could remedy that. And there was this one session in particular where only one participant showed up, and my initial reaction to that was disappointment because I was wondering why? Why is everyone else not here, although they signed up? But this session actually provided a really great opportunity for me to speak with this individual participant who actually I hadn't seen a couple weeks prior, who had been missing a couple of the sessions. And this session, he came and told me why he had missed it, the previous sessions, what had been going on in his life. And we had a really unique opportunity to share more about what part of Umoja Circles was resonating with him, what he needed from me as a facilitator, but also what resources he sought out with that Umoja Circles could provide. And after that, he began really engaged. He was attending all the sessions after. He was actually requesting additional services from us, additional resources. Gave me a lot of great ideas that I'm still using now with this new cohort that's beginning. So it was a really great opportunity to see that even if, participants might not be coming all the time, or things might look a little bit different to how I expect it, having that space there, maintaining the safe space for dialogue for our participants, for the community, is really valuable. And people will show up because the demand is there. We just need to have these spaces available for people.
Those are great answers. I have so many notable experiences, as you guys have just mentioned as well. For me, my experience was definitely a little bit unique in the sense of I am not Black identifying, and this is a group that's, targeted or is a safe space for people who are Black and Brown identifying. And I was really honored to have the opportunity be, open for me, and that I was accepted into this space. And also just the participants who did show up knowing that this, this person is here and wants to help our community, but also who are you and why? I totally understood it. I had lots of conversations about it during supervision, and it was really validating to me once my participants would be so consistent and would provide such helpful feedback that it was really helping them. And I saw that in each session as they continued to come and grow as individuals and people. And it was just a great community to be a part of, and I don't take any of it for granted. And yeah, it was a really great experience.
Well, for me, I came into the Umoja Circles experience very interested in clinical practice. I was really excited to be able to do this clinical work with Umoja Circles, and I was focused on, pretty determined to do the clinical practice concentration with that like tunnel vision. But once I started doing the work, I realized how this clinical practice, direct practice, is directly tied to and interconnected with community outreach and community advocacy, especially with Umoja Circles, because our work is catered to as a very specific community, and none of the work that we could do would be effective or enriching really if we weren't focused on the community or trying to bring the community into what we do. So that has really changed my perspective on how I see my work having an impact in the community moving forward in the long term, and also what kind of work I see myself doing.
I agree. I didn't have experience working with adults when I started Umoja Circles, and it kind of worked out really well that my first cohort was teens because I felt more comfortable with that. And I also did not have a lot of clinical experience directly working in that space, even though the circles were like supposed to be a healing space. But I thought those clinical skills that I had, which I also think of as a privilege to be in a space to have the knowledge of clinical skills, and I didn't take that for granted either. I think the experience of being in that position to create these spaces and be so directly working with the community was something that was new to me, but I really, really enjoyed and has continued with me. I think no matter where I go, being part of Umoja Circles has shaped me a lot as a social worker and as a person on how big our impact can be. And I think it was really very much the best part of my time with the Columbia School of Social Work. I think the community that it gave me, it helped me grow as a facilitator, a clinician, a social worker, like I said. And yeah, I will definitely take it with me, all the skills and just the experiences that I had. I also want to quickly just add how the Umoja Circles is also so wonderful because it is like a gift that keeps on giving, and it is a community in itself. All the facilitators really come together, past and previous, Ethelyn, Eva, Dr. Williams, Ash and Howie, like getting to sit together and talk about this experience is also something really just powerful. And I remember being a facilitator and how important it was for me to have everyone who's like been there since the conception till now. I think being part of it is really beautiful, and the impact it has on the community, also the impact it has on us. So I think it's important. I just wanted to note that as well.
For me, there's so many different moments that come to mind for me. The first one was when we got the grant. When we applied for the grant, we got the grant. Now we have money. Now we're funded. We're kind of now we're loaded and dangerous. Let's do something. Let's impact the community, and we can do it in a way that allows us to physically be able to give back to the people that we're trying to help. And then you said a specific moment. I remember, I never forget this. I want to say it's probably maybe the third or fourth session in my cohort. And folks were kind of running in late, and people gave me a heads up. They said, look, we're going to be late. It was one of those days. So we got in the group, and people started to trickle in one by one. And there was just one person we were waiting for. And I just felt the pressure. I'm like, okay, give it 5 minutes, a little 7 minutes. Now I'm like, okay, all right, everyone, let's get ready to get started. And we had one participant that normally was kind of off camera. They would kind of come on and off camera. And then this time, the individual, they came on camera, and they were like, no, we cannot start until this other person comes. And I was kind of like, that's the way it's supposed to be, but I didn't want to say it. And it just felt good that folks were connected with each other enough to say, you know what, I'm willing to wait. I'm willing to stay later. I'm willing to, do whatever it takes, but I want this person and for all of us to stay in community and learn and to experience this process together. So that was something that, just some of the things that stood out to me.
I love that. It's such a clear example of the community building within the group. And I think, Howie, as you mentioned, the research data literally shows a decrease in stress, increase in, positive happiness and well-being and likelihood to continue therapy, which I think is really great, or mental health resources. I also had a similar experience where I remember in the groups with the teens, at one point they were going through similar things, moving to new schools, and one of the participants just kind of started addressing the other one like, oh yeah, I've been through that as well, and shared her experience. And I remember Ethlyn and I after were like, oh my gosh, they spoke to each other, you know, because it was hard to get them off camera, like post-pandemic, still kind of in that weird space, and it was really great to see. And then with the adults, similar, they, one missed a session and the next one she came, and they're like, we really missed you, and I'm so glad you're back, is everything okay? And to see that bonding with people that would not have happened if this group did not exist was just really beautiful to see.
Funding. Yeah. Unfortunately, these things don't fund themselves, and we need money. It's just the realism within it. We can only go as far as our manpower allows us, or as far as our budget allows us. So folks need to contribute to the mission. In addition to, because there's people that's willing to do the work. So funding, things like this, recognition, making it more public for folks to see that it's not just kind of like our little secret mission that we're doing. This is something bigger than us, and it has a greater good, a greater implication among everyone, the facilitators, the community, and it should be spoken about.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I think that there are people out there that are trying to do the same thing as Umoja Circles or are thinking the same thing. Our mission is not singular. It's something that can impact beyond the Black community in New York City. It can impact the Black community nationally, internationally, members of other identities. So raising awareness of the impact of Umoja Circles and also the existence of Umoja Circles, I think can not only bring participants and members of the community to us, but open up our mission to a wider audience. Let people know that there's people that are concerned about this, that this mission is not, being left unknown or unsaid, or there are people that are pursuing it, and there are people that are trying to do the work. So, with the funding piece, being able to support more people to maybe join the team and be facilitators or do other work for Umoja Circles, because our participant list is growing as the cohorts go, so the demand is very much there. So Umoja Circles will grow within the city, but also nationally I see it growing a lot. So funding and awareness.
Totally. In my experience as well, being open, signing up, talking about it, following the Instagram, and kind of spreading it to the own networks that you have could be really helpful, because it is such a really great place, and it would be a shame for people to miss out on it for not knowing about it.
Yeah. And I think making consumable information for folks, like you're saying, we have markers, we have information on how folks are performing, and to kind of think outside of the academy. We're used to publishing papers, making papers, but the community and the people in which we want to impact, that's not necessarily how they communicate.
Right.
We need to find ways that are authentic, ways that are, again, culturally competent, that will reach them and that will be able to let them know that what we're doing is impactful in its impact and its effect. So